In the documentary We Are Pat, we explore Pat, the evasive, androgynous character made famous on Saturday Night Live by Julia Sweeney, an escapable figure in 1990s pop culture. As a child, filmmaker Ro Haber became obsessed with Pat, a character whose popularity stemmed from making others uncomfortable by defying gender norms. Decades later, and now an out trans filmmaker Haber still grapples with Pat's legacy. 35 years after its Pat first aired on Saturday Night Live, Haber assembles a group of queer and trans comedians, writers, and even Sweeney herself to revisit the character. We Are Pat is directed by filmmaker Ro Haber, and she has made several short films and contributed to some anthology films, but this is her feature directorial debut, and We Are Pat just debuted at the Tribeca Film Festival. For me, growing up in Australia, we didn't get Saturday Night Live on television here back in the 90s. So there's a lot of movies that like so popular characters from that TV show that became movies, like It's Pat movie and Night of the Roxbury and Superstar. Those type of films eventually made their way onto like VHS tape at like a local blockbuster, but we were not aware that these films stemmed from Saturday Night Live sketches, and so we were not kind of in on the pop culture of these characters at the time. So for me, I have not seen the original film It's Pat, and I have not seen the original sketches from Saturday Night Live. So watching this documentary, We Are Pat, this is the first time I've seen these sketches. We Are Pat does a great job of exploring in context in the early 90s what these Pat sketches were about at the time, and also reflecting on current times, and are these sketches still offensive? In this documentary, the filmmaker talks to a lot of people. Some people still think they're funny. Some people take them in a context, like at the time when they presented on TV, as a time period in time, and not offensive. So the filmmaker interviews a wide range of comedians and people and writers and trans people, and some people were related to the character. Some people were afraid of the character because they themselves were judged, like, are you a man, are you a woman? And it's interesting to see how this sketch originated. Like the original comedian Julia Sweeney, she played Pat, and she's featured in this documentary quite a lot, and she gives her viewpoint. And it's interesting how the sketch originated. Like back in the early 90s, Saturday Night Live was very male dominated by the comedians like Adam Sandler and David Spade and Chris Rock, and the show was heavily favored for those male comedians, and even like comedians like Adam Sandler and Chris Farley, they dressed up as women. So it was very hard for the female comedians on Saturday Night Live at the time to have their own character, to have their own famous sketches. So Julia Sweeney, she was able to get this character on a sketch on the show, and it originated as just like a annoying office colleague. He gets too close to you, and he just has interesting quirks. But then the comedian Julia Sweeney noticed that the funniest laughs were when people were trying to guess if are you male, are you female, and trying to put her in different scenarios so she can reveal if she's male or female, and that got the most laughs. So that's how the Pat character, and then this Pat character ended up being on the show for 4 years, and then after that there was a movie. So it was, even though I was not aware at the time, maybe I was too young, or because Saturday Night Live just didn't air in my country, but I was not aware of this Pat character until basically this documentary. And then once the film has done exploring this Pat character, it also shows us a limelight on the rising popularity of trans comedians in America in the last decade. And we meet a lot of trans comedians and writers in this documentary, and they give you their viewpoint on the Pat sketch back in the 90s, and also trans representation in films and comedy at the time, and that they were just trying to grasp any type of representation they got back in the 90s. And as I said before, Pat, for them, some people related to this character, some people found it offensive, some people were scared of this character. So this film does a really great job of exploring what this character meant to a lot of people at the time. I give We Are Pat 3.5 stars out of 5. I definitely recommend checking out this documentary. It really does give a focus on this Pat character in context back in the early 90s and what it meant to people back then, and also now, reflecting on that time. Is this character still offensive? Is it still relatable? And this film has a lot of trans comedians and writers, and they give their viewpoints on that character and the comedic journey at the time. So this film has a lot of interesting themes and a lot of humor in it. So I definitely recommend checking out this documentary, We Are Pat. Thanks for watching. What did you think of We Are Pat? Please comment below what you thought of the film. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.